Today, I need to fit a Flatride within this section of my park, Butterfly Garden, and it needs to be a garden-themed Flatride. But first, if you're new here, this is Butterfly Gardens. My name is Jason, and I post Planet Coaster 2 content. And this park is inspired by several parks that I've known in my life, and gardening is the central theme, flower beds, plenty of foliage and rocks, and of course, there will be butterflies. It is a park that I have wanted to do for some time, and I am slowly bringing it together. Welcome to Butterfly Garden. For this space of land, I realized there was probably a pretty flat area to do something with, but I wasn't sure initially what I wanted to do with it. I thought when I first conceptualized kind of the area, because there is a coaster to the left of there called Gargantua, and that coaster is really huge. It covers an enormous area of land. And this space I thought could be used possibly for a single rail inverted coaster, but then I really thought about that and I thought, I don't know, because I already have Little Looper on the right hand side of the track. And then, I went back and forth on a lot of the different options. I was recently inspired by a Frontier post on Instagram where they detailed a Flatride based around the toy box pack that recently came out of the game. And I think that it was really cool. I think it was a really neat build. And I thought, we don't often sit down and focus on our Flatrides very much. So then I used the mirror and rotate trick because I needed this center point to make the middle of the ride look like a flower. And then, of course, I needed the, I think they're called the stamens, the little spikes that come out in the middle of the flower. I needed those on there. And I realized the petals were too flat, so you're going to see me try to manipulate those a little bit. If the ride is moving, and I'm going to demonstrate it here in just a moment because I goofed up and it occurred, but if the ride is moving when you attempt to rotate a part that is mirrored around it, you'll see here that it gets really, really weird really fast. Like, this is one of the problems I had when I first experimented with the whole idea of attaching objects to moving rides. And then I saw the ride do its thing where it puts the cover over it. And I thought, cool, the flower can transform. So, it doesn't look completely like a flower. And here I am tilting everything, and you can see it gets strange. So, I can't say that I'm totally in love with like that smooth edge when the curtain goes up. I wanted a way for this to kind of transform in appearance. Because one thing I enjoy doing at amusement parks is just watching the rides go through their paces and do their thing. And some rides do it really cool. Some rides really do a cool job at performing. And that's what I want out of some of the attractions in this park. Yeah, I want some of the traditional flat rides, but I also want some performers, some peacocks. I have a collection of these circular builds that I've done. And honestly, it's a question of like, will it fit? And that's when I realized the other one that I actually have saved to blueprints, they're in another park. And when I have saved to blueprints is like, I need to maybe edit this a bit, like alter it off of what it originally was. And when I did, I got that cool twist on the edge of those outer circles. And I'm like, this is the one, this is it. And then here you'll see me pull the middle up. And because it's all rotated around a mover that's stationary, it's perfect. It'll draw every part of the circle. And then I looked at like lighting options. I was like, okay, so I need lighting options. So I needed to do mirrored rotational, and then I needed to loop, and I wanted it to be purple. I settled on purple, and at the end I'll show it to you in the dark, I promise. And then I transferred some of the park's lighting around, which really helped. I love the clutter that you can place around. Move some of the picnic tables in, and what you can note here is just how complex looking this ride is, and yet how fast. Yes, the video is on 3 times as fast, but in that space of about, I'd say 26 minutes to maybe half an hour, maybe 40 if we're pushing it. I didn't look at the total recording time, but that's how quickly I flung this all together. Like, it's not like it was an extensively long project. Now, I do have to say I'm kind of moaning the fact that I couldn't make this gardening edge work on these. I probably could have. Don't get me wrong, but I think the arches are rotated around there at a different interval than what I had set for the garden. And as a result, it was just slowly offsetting one by one all around, so I just got rid of it. Sometimes I become aware that I'm recording a video while I'm building, and yeah, well, it's going to be sped up footage. I don't like to edit too much of it off, because I like to show the meat and potatoes of what I went through and be able to talk to you about what I went through to get to the point where I'm at in the build. And because I think that that's helpful. I like when other creators do that, so I want to do that myself as well. So here I was just putting in some of the taller foliage. This bush plant thing, I'm not good with flower names, but this, and you can totally see, by the way, side quest here, I screwed up my pathing types, and I had no clue what I was working with, where the entrance and exit were, even though there's arrows literally on it that show you. And I didn't want an extensively long queue, and I kind of liked where it placed it, almost like on a zigzag there. If you guys know me long enough, you know that I love Tegan 3D's pathing, for queue lines. Have it several places in this park, but I also like sometimes to just go with the traditional pathing system that is Planet Coaster 2, which is far from traditional. If you've played the game for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Planet Coaster 1 pathing was a nightmare. So, and then here's some ground paint, which helps seal the deal. I've noticed if you get too much foliage going, especially to simulate like grass, it doesn't work well. But here it is. Here's the cinematic shots, the cool effects. Here it is. I put it in the dark for you, so you can see the purple glow of the whole ride with the torches and all that stuff. It really is a lovely ride, and it's a nice place to sit and have a rest and just enjoy your day. But that's all I have this time for Butterfly Garden. Tune in next time while we work on Gargantua, that big wooden coaster in the background there, and the entire area. And I will see you guys next week.